As a Nikon fan bitch, I am trying to keep it together here. I love Nikon. They are the future. No other company deserves to be around in 18 years. What they've done today, it's not an insult to mankind. It's a threat. Yeah. I don't think their intentions were to release the least inspiring camera I've ever seen, but I do believe they had a meeting about it, and I was disappointed in the results. Alright fellas, not gonna lie to you, it was a long night. I was battling with a raccoon, ended up adopting the thing. We're supposed to release a camera today. I don't have anything prepared. Johnson, do you have any spare parts? We could put together something. Sir, we can't just build a new camera in 10 minutes. You're joking, right? We have that old April Fool's sensor from 8 years ago, but we can't put that in a new camera. We'll be roasted. We need to aspire to something higher. I do not have time for this. Johnson, I have a raccoon now. My life is raccoon-based. Whatever you got in the back room will have to do for today. It's aps-c, no one cares. You know who does care? Me. I'm here for you, boss. I'm gonna put together the best thing. I've been working on it. We have a low megapixel sensor, aps-c designed. It's gonna be so fast. New processor in here, dual Expedia 9 processors, allowing us the first camera ever to do 4K 480 frames per second. I've been working on this all night. One raccoon, one lens. Let's do this. Johnson, this is an entry-level camera. It's not meant to be good. It's meant to be in your house because you could afford it. You lost your job, but you can still take pictures of your boss to blackmail him later. It's just an entry level. You're getting your foot in the door. This is not for professionals. It doesn't have to be good. It just has to be cheap and it has to work. Nikon. Okay, I can respect that. We got the 8-year-old sensor, still good. Throw some IBIS in there. Little 12-bit RAW on the aps-c. 4K 120 with a crop or something like that. Kids will be fine. I'll get to work on it. When I said entry level, that's the first door. You're already on the 4th floor asking where's the chocolates and shit. We don't have time for this basic kit lens type of shit in a camera. The only thing I could put together by this afternoon would be a heavy camera with no IBIS, and then the EVF from the first camera we ever made. And then maybe we could have one card slot. I can't even, maybe a micro SD card slot. I guarantee nothing. Perfect. It's too good, actually.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
So the Nikon Z50 Mark II is upon us. Is it a baby Z6 III? No, it's not even a baby Z50 Mark I. It's a fatter baby with too much food. First, let's talk about the positives. There are many, and then we'll get into the reasons why I would never be caught dead with this thing in my hand. No IBIS. Oh, we're already starting. Here's me being positive. You actually get a Nikon camera capable of 10-bit using the RED Luts in log for only 900 American. How? How did we make that work? The look you'll get compared to the Fuji and the Sony, way better. Autofocus right up there with Sony's levels. We're talking the best entry-level aps-c camera ever made. This compliment sandwich is over, my friend. So it's like a decent offering. If you don't want much, okay, Nikon found some parts in the cellar. They put together a thing that's actually like quite on par with the competition and has the Nikon flavor, which I prefer to most others. So it's like pretty good. I could run this whole show on it. We all know that. Get the 40mm Tony 2, that punches into like a 50, 60. But that's not why I'm here on this earth. I'm here to push the industry forward and just put together your best effort and wow us. That's what I'm trying to get these companies to realize. Hey man, it's been done. Nikon Z6 III is like, you're matching Sony A7S III specs with double the megapixels. That's pretty impressive, almost. Better look. Not bad. Canon C70 with its dual gain output sensor, having more dynamic range, almost airy level. It's like, wow, you changed the game. dynamic range in our pockets. Sony ZVE10, like, are you joking? 4K 120 HD 240 best autofocus in the business, and the full frame sensor is only 483 grams. Are you joking? How did you shrink it down? Like, a lot of companies are doing amazing things, Nikon included in the, except today, Z50 Mark II. We're coming out with aps-c, and it has no IBIS. That means you're limited to kit lens zooms that have stave in them. Thank you. I'm a lens snob. That's why I get into systems. It's for the lenses. I pick my lens, and then hopefully a camera is good enough to wield it. If you're really talking about your aps-c offerings, you have like a 24mm 1.7, no stave in it. So you're on a tripod, but this is catered towards content creators. Content creators don't create content, they create misery and sadness and ineptitude displayed on a screen. Look at my stupid mind. This is what I came up with. My mom's flower pots in the backyard. Look, I panned. I pointed up. The sun was behind the leaves, and I panned back. Are you blown away yet? You're not? Because we're all stupid bitches, and we've been brainwashed, and we don't have a creative bone in our body. We don't deserve the cameras that already exist. But you could have. This is not a camera that pushes forward the industry. This is an actual Fuji X-T3 competitor, but worse in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways. If I would have went X-T4, I'd be like, you're blown away. We got IBIS. 4K 60 has less of a crop. Your crop is a 1.5 times on top of a 1.5 aps-c. That's a 2.25 times crop. That's almost 1-inch sensor territory. 2.7 for 1 inch. That's going to be noisy and shit. And it's 4K 60 and not 120. So like, that's a painful spec. But that's what the competition is doing as well. If you're really talking like, what's better? Nikon entry-level territory or Fuji, Sony, Canon? No one else exists. XM5 is 355 grams. That's a lot lighter, and it's 100 dingers cheaper. You're doing like same basic specs, only XM5 actually does 240 frames per second. You only do 120. 4K 60, way less of a crop. As you can see in my descending ordered color-coded chart of green winners to red losers, whether we're talking weight or price, on paper, you're not winning a whole lot of battles here, Nicky boy. You're 520 grams, you're the heaviest of all these, and you're slightly more than some of them. I put the XM5 in as a joke, but I would get the XS20 for like $400 more. Then you're in another category, but technically XM5 same specs as that. You just have to take your tripod off every time you want to get the SD card. The R10 is a joke, but it's Canon color science and way better autofocus than Fuji. And then the ZVE10 Mark II, how do you beat that? It's $100 more, but much lighter. It also doesn't have IBIS, but its digital stave is decent for some. Not good enough for me, of course. And it's got better specs and way better autofocus. 4K 60, no crop, oversampled. Don't quote me on that. If a large Viking man came to my door right now with an axe and a bow, and he's pointing the bow at me with the axe as backup, and he's saying, get rid of all your cameras now, I'll be taking those. Which of these do you want me to buy you with the money I get from selling your gear? I would have him buy, I think, oh boy, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. Oh man, don't make me pick. They're all so bad. I don't want to pick a side. Sony ZVE10 Mark II. No, Fuji XM5. And then I buy some type of super skinny tripod that I don't have to remove. It's just like one long screw from Home Hardware, and then I tape it. And then 240 frames per second, come on. So while this Nicky boy, you're treading water and you're keeping up with the fellow offerings in your price range, I'm looking for someone to push the territories here. aps-c could be higher spec than your full frame offerings. because it's a smaller sensor, you have way less data to move around. You could, in theory, put an aps-c Pro body that doubles the frame rates of your full frame. And then that's the reason you go aps-c. It's not only lighter and smaller, but it's better specs. But then you don't have your better dynamic range and your background blur. There's some compromises that come with that size, but you're pushing forward truth. If it was me making an aps-c camera, there's a gap for a video-centric aps-c 16:9 sensor with your 9 megapixels doing 4K 240p, HD 480, and that thing with IBIS and super dynamic range because of the low megapixels, and maybe you're doing a DGO sensor for airy level dynamic range and it only works in 24 frames per second, but at least you get that. You'd be pushing the industry forward, and you'd be trying at least to occupy a space instead of wading water next to sharks, getting nowhere. You want to swim to shore. Swim to shore and then build a cabin, not just wait for a shark to eat you. But thank you so much for putting a right-handed mode dial on this piece of shit and leaving me with a left-handed crab dial that I have to stab a finger into and then turn with 2 other fingers. What if I only had these 3 fingers? What would I do? Oh, I could not change mode. So like, what if you picked up a crab and he chopped off one of your fingers? Well, I can't shoot Nikon then. Are you thinking of crab people? No, you're not. But the reality is you have this really old, boring sensor, 21 megapixels, no IBIS. Your 4K 60 has a huge, undeserving crop. You're pretty heavy for what you are. You have these new LUTs, but Nikon LUTs are not good. You have some RED stuff in there that's coming, but this, like, your little jokes, your denim, and your things, like, you're not Fuji film sims, that's for sure. Your old ass battery that, like, why not just use the Z6 III battery? And then it's like, holy cow, aps-c camera that's way less demanding has a huge battery and I can last all day. That would be trying. That would be creating something for fun instead of reusing parts. You're reusing your Z50 body that could only possibly fit the small battery, and then you added some extra stuff and you carved off a thing with your 3D printer, however you do it. It's not pushing our industry forward. It's not exciting. It's an offering that exists that is equivalent with other shark victims. But could you do worse? You get that 12 to 28 kit lens thing. It's wide. You could vlog with it. The stab's not going to be very good at all. And your digital has way too much crop. Why can't someone just give us a slider of crop? I want only 5% and it'll stab a bit. Then 10, 15, 20. Give me a slider. Let me choose the crop and it gets stronger as it goes. It's like, okay, if I really want it super stable, then it's a 40% crop. Okay. How come no one's doing that? Catalyst Browse let you do it, but after. It should be now. So you bored me, Nicky boy. No, you did not just make a nice, smaller, younger brother for my Z6 III that we're on now. Oh God, I'm overexposed to hell. Oh God, I did not compensate for that. Adjusting on the fly, gonna leave soon. There's a douche tuber light in the background. That's how you know this product is available through my affiliate links. Unbelievable. It's good enough for you. Be real with your life. Let's accurately assess where we are as a... Oh, I touched a lot of things. I'm going to leave now after Bitcoin gets donated. You could subscribe for more, no, Santa.